Hello there, everyone. It's showtime. I say, all calmly, with this lovely crew, on this final episode of The Greatest Attorney. Welcome, welcome.
Whoa.
Final episode.
Yes, final episode. I'm here, Fire Charmer, usually your strictest succubus, ringmaster, and magician, now detective. And I'm joined with the lovely Great Ace Attorney group. With Ryan. Looks right.
Hello.
Coots, or Kutu.
Bunga bunga.
Onga Bunga. Didn't really know.
No, not bunga. Bunger.
Oh,
Hunger, gonger.
Because I actually bought the game,
Oh,
so now I can say it.
what? Oh, you don't even know the game like you know what that title.
I'll tell you later.
Not all. And we have the lovely Chronobel.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
Mm-hmm. And we have no, Kururu.
Hello.
How well. For those who want to follow them on everything, they are found on these links. And yeah, they're all lovely people. And oh, Mike Bell, you have a lot of static in your background.
Yeah.
Right, you're rubbing the mic.
I think it's just the sink.
Yeah, maybe. Weren't you tapping water? Oh well. Final episode, guys. Great Ace Attorney is the first game of the two is coming to an end. Previously, we were hot on the heels of our little friend Egg Benedict, or Crowgrey, whatever his full name is. Yeah, he knew facts weren't there when the crime scene happened, when the crime happened, because our.
What about him? Because I only recently rediscovered that in Five Nights at Freddy's in Sister Location you get named Egg Benedict, so I keep thinking about him with some exotic butters. I can't
Exotic
get him out of my head.
Exotic butters.
Exotic butters.
Yeah, no. I know that. And that's quite funny. But yeah, this is another Egg Benedict, so yeah. Yeah, we were hot on his heels to pin him for the murder of Winnipeg. And the, clear our defend Gina of her charges. And now we're trying to prove that he doesn't know that he would be on the crime scene because he knew information that couldn't have been obtained before while the crime was happening. Because Shizato, our lovely assistant, made the people after the crime committed. So whole Benedict's testimony about seeing how Gina killed Winterbank through the peephole was not true.
Peephole.
Yeah,
People.
Yeehaw.
What?
What is that? That's a people. That's
Yeah, anyway.
This is like a kindergarten and he plays the teacher.
Am I?
Apparently.
I mean, yeah.
Apparently, I'm the most. I'm pretty much the most level-headed at the moment. I'm kind of confused. What the hell is happening here? We're just trying to recap everything. Let us just move into it. Yeah, it's just your personality. I know. Let's just get into the game, I suppose, and then we'll just move from there. Oh yeah, we were also.
Careful.
While we were establishing all this, we also found about the existence of the second disc, and we are kind of pinpointing where the second disc would be. In this trial, no one other than Ag Benedict, Gregson, and Tim Taylor brothers.
Kutz didn't see the scene with Sherlock.
Oh yeah, Sherlock came also along as well.
And when I asked, I basically got like no information on what happened.
Yeah,
I feel like that.
lot
basically
happened.
we discovered that maybe our man at Benedict, which is not his real name.
Rupert's
yeah.
program.
His real name is hard.
Well,
Yes.
actually, his official last name was Milverton years ago.
Yeah, we discovered he had another surname, and we discovered that somebody is leaking some government secrets. And it may be him with the music box that is in Morse code.
Yeah.
And Sherlock helped us. He came to the trial, dressed as a bailiff, and
I think you're missing the main point, which is Rupert is the son of the brickmaker that was murdered in the trial
yeah,
a
there
few
we go.
months
yes,
ago.
yes, that's so important.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's related to the case that happened with Magondo.
And he also tried to bribe the detective.
Well, yeah, he
With the
bribed the
second
detective
disc.
to give the second disc to him in order to get information of the investigation, so that he can make a testimony to clear his name.
Yeah.
But counteractively, he got information that couldn't have been obtained during the crime because some of the stuff,
Peephole.
the peephole, was made after the crime. Because our lovely assistant Susato just made it after the crime was committed.
She tampered with the crime scene.
Yeah, she tampered with the crime scene. Which is why she called herself a judicial assistant before she left.
Yeah.
Yeah. During the testimonies, Gregson had a weird interaction with one of the Templar brothers.
So we're suspecting that he got the disc from Rupert and then put it off on one of the Templar brothers.
Yeah, because
Like he passed it on.
yeah, if we're
So-
looking at the, yeah,
Wait,
go ahead.
Did you say if we found out what was on the disc?
Yeah,
yeah,
Government
we're-
secret.
We're so speculating
that's
that
the
government
government
secrets
okay.
are on the 2 discs, because you need both of them to have the full Morse code
Both of
sequence.
these discs.
Okay.
Because 2 sides of the music box only plays one note. Both sides in different notes, so you need both of them to make the dots and dashes. So yeah, Rupert gave Gregson, because he's in the investigation team about these government secrets, apparently. Yeah, Rupert gave the music disc in order to get information to clear his name. And now Gregson probably passed it on to one of the Templar brothers in case that we were inquiring about it. Because yes, we are now pointing out who might have the disc on stand. And we are thinking Nani.
Wait. The blood.
The blood?
The blood on the cart.
Oh,
The
yeah,
code.
we had a whole blood of the code thing because... But those
Did
are also
we
false...
resolve that?
Yeah, we resolved that.
Oh,
because
have
the,
been resolved.
because he
Then never
couldn't...
mind.
He couldn't... The blood is old. Yes, they proved that there was blood on the code because that was from... the first murder, because the blood of the code was actually from Magundal. But we now are proving that Rupert couldn't have seen the blood spatter on the codes because there was no
Peephole.
peephole and couldn't see that the blood was on.
Okay.
You know, it's like a complicated situation, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed
It
quite a
went
bit.
it went up and down, and it's like now we're just calling out that Nemi has the disc.
That was important. Sherlock collapsed because it was still not very, you know, was still sick. And I am worried.
He has a fever, right?
It will be fine.
Oh, my lord, Mr. Nami Timpler.
Well, I never. Very well done, bailiff. Restrain the witnesses and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects.
Gonna take some ketchup. I'll give her back.
Yum. Please, my lord, I need ketchup on these chips. Inspector.
Inspector, do you really need to get the ketchup now?
Can't you wait later? Scotland Yard must to object to this search.
And we object as well. I want ketchup for my wine.
God. Unfortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. Oh boy. Dude. Ooh.
What's going on
Spicy.
here?
In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object.
And to get ketchup.
Braxton.
Oh,
Get
so
your jib.
I am with the prosecution.
Yeah.
Because I have
Values
ketchup.
understand.
Oh, my.
But my Lord 16.
I have no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions.
Well, you do, probably.
But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial.
Ah. Bailiff, carry out the search.
Sweat, sweat, sweat.
Now, hold on a mo. I don't know nothing. Nothing about no disc. Cut it out.
Well, shout your eyes.
Consensual searching.
Here, my lord, in the witness in the witness's pocket. I found this.
Good Lord, that's...
Fuck.
That's another.
box disc.
What?
I don't know nothing about it. Nothing.
Oh, hi there, Nyappies. Nyappies. How you doing?
Doing good. How you
Oh
doing?
yeah, and by the way,
Yankees?
the second disc has 100% less blood on it.
That's crazy.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, alright.
Not the fact that we found
No
this.
ketchup on this disc?
No ketchup on this disc.
There's more blood on Benedict Cumberbuckle than this.
Can we just fuck up his name every time we say it, please?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Extra
that.
mode.
That is the second music box disc left behind by Constantly Magonda. Is it not, Inspector Gregson?
Ugh.
Ah!
Man, poor the poor chips there.
Poor chips. Order, order, order. Mr. T-Pillar, what have you to say for yourself?
Gordon Bennett. I'm just Gorman Flamin' Bennett. I swear I didn't know nothing about that disc. Honest to God.
Counsel, would you please explain what exactly is going on here?
I don't
The
fucking
alleged
know.
deal that was struck was between this witness and this detective, no?
Without question, my lord.
Then, for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc that the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson was screwed. Is a skewed, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. But at one particular point in this trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment.
I don't recall. What unusual behavior? Ah!
It was, yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Crowgray.
Have a good night.
Have a good
sleep.
lurk.
Good night.
Tell me, Mr. Crowgray, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket?
I admit nothing of the sort.
Well, Mr. Crowgray answered my questions. The inspector apprehended, appeared to have grabbed Nemi Timpera by his coat and was shaking him violently.
Yeah, he did it all. Thought me noggin was gonna fall off clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born as me brother, I was.
And what exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that?
I ain't got a clue. You just suddenly turned and grabbed me whistle like that and started shaking me. Why the blazes didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down to the station? That's what he said. Yeah, right down my ear hole you did. My head's still dropping now.
The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character. But looking back now, it must have been then that he did it. That was the opportunity Mr. Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc.
Well, bless my wig. He hit it? But I'm afraid I failed to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? This is a court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence.
It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty to do that.
No, why ever not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions.
My orders were recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry. And do it on the QT, strictly hush hush. Hush hush. A top secret assignment, is it?
As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if that information were to be revealed as court evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector?
I'm operating under direct orders from the ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to answer that question.
So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in court, you took steps to hide the disc you had acquired from the witness.
Ah, does this mean?
He only pretended to attack Mr. Timpera in order to get close enough to him. He slid the second disc into his pocket.
So it was all a pretense?
Everyone's dead silent.
Well, now Inspector Gregson and you, Mr. Crowgray. Are you prepared to admit the accusation made against you of this alleged deal?
He really doesn't know how to give up. Right?
Oh, I was muted. Admit to it? Yours truly? Please.
Mr. Crowgray?
Clearly, our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed the disc to the inspector.
But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the peephole?
I'm under no obligation to explain.
What?
Yes, I lied in my testimony. That I admit, so sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Murder? Leaking government secrets? Striking a deal with a detective? All of it is this young Eastern man's fancy. I have no idea what any of this is about.
Fuck did he get that?
You... What?
Just because
What
he
was
says it
that?
doesn't mean it's fucking
Well,
true.
what about you then, Inspector Craxton? Do you admit making a deal with Mr. Crowgray in order to acquire the disc?
Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard inspector, I would declare this and nothing more. I am acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done, it's been in the name of justice. So as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making your decisions.
That did not answer anything.
Nope.
This is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in the concluding of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter to the jury for their final leanings.
Well now, as a fellow servant of Queen and Country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector.
Yes, he's a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character.
Even crossing your eyes doesn't help. When it comes to looking at this case, it's all blurry to me.
Well, as a fellow professional, I'd like to put my faith in the detective, really.
Joe Gray is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in prison of vitals. Stop.
Detective has very much trust in his eyes. More than this, I cannot say. I don't believe it. Those 6 jurors are going to believe Gregson? If they declare their decision now...
Is anyone going to be found guilty?
If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're going to lose. Either some proof that Crowgray killed Mr. Winterbank, or stole those government secrets, or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness.
Well done, counsel. I think it's time I imposed on the jurors to declare their final decisions, no? That is, unless you have some compelling evidence you have thus far not presented to the court.
If I let the judge call on the jurors to announce their leanings, Gina will be found guilty.
So there's no choice then, you? You have to throw some more evidence at them.
This is it. This is it now. It all comes down to this. Who do I present the evidence against? Gregson or Crowgray? Okay, what do we have on evidence? What do you guys think?
Well, I can't really adequately say something because I don't have as much information as you guys. But
Honestly, I don't know.
I have no idea.
We
Maybe
can try
music
both.
box against Gregson.
What will music box against Gregson do?
Because he wants the music disc, right? Wouldn't he want the box too that can play the...
Well, we have also the first
Other
music box
discs,
disc
yeah.
in evidence, so...
Mm.
And I
Wait,
totally...
what if we can put the music box to the jury? Maybe they can decode it now that we have the 2 discs.
Or the lady?
Yeah, the lady.
Maybe.
Maybe... I'm not sure myself, really. I mean... Do we...
Because now that we have both discs, right?
Nah, the second disc is not... has been found now, but it was not presented as evidence at this point. So who do we... I really don't know who to...
Because like, what can we present to Crow Gray that would... Like we can think of all the things we can present to each one and then see like if there's like a valuable path that we can go through.
Yeah, connect all of the dots pretty much.
I don't think anything we give to Crow Gray is gonna change his answer at all.
No. Wait, if we... This is really scummy maybe, if that would be the case, but... Inspector Gregson with the music box, indeed. Because if we ask the second disc from the judge, we'll be pretty much playing in government secrets in court. Will his leaning stance on admitting it before the message would play?
But then the person who decodes it is in the jury.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, give it to the jury instead of give it to Gregson. So the question is, who do we present evidence to, right? So if you present the evidence to the jury, and then they decode it, rather than presenting it to Gregson, because Gregson's not going to do shit with that evidence.
I think... But it's... Would I present evidence against Gregson or Crow Gray? If we leave it to the jury, they're gonna lean it.
Not to the jury. Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty much finding Gina guilty.
Then I guess Gregson, yeah.
Inspector Gregson, there's one final piece of evidence I would like you to see.
Yeah, what's that then?
If you refuse to acknowledge that you did, in fact, strike a deal with the witness here today, then you leave me no choice but to examine this piece of evidence thoroughly.
Well, go on.
This is my last chance. It looks like I'm going to have to force his hand here.
No, I think by this line of question, yeah.
One final piece of evidence to get the detective to admit that to the deal. He clearly struck with Crow Gray.
Is that Mr. McGondal's peculiar music box, Counsel?
Yes, with a disc already in place, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time, with the second disc we just discovered set in place as well.
goodness. Does this council? No, wait. I can't let you do that.
Why not?
Because, well... Because it's got nothing to do with the case, that's why.
Not true, Inspector. The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court earlier from this music was part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believes that this second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message. And now we have a chance to confirm that theory.
For crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here.
You shouldn't have fucking put them on it then.
If you go letting the whole courtroom hear confidential information like that, it's treason.
Then you do admit the charge that in order to protect the state secrets, you engaged in unlawful dealings with the witness.
You're mad. If you let the secret information out into the public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot.
Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to court, and all because by a fair means of or foul, you determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine.
Don't you dare.
I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. My lord,
He's just ready for it.
if you please, the
Ready to
court
throw
must
it.
hear the sounds made by that music box.
Come on, Van Zeeks, for Pete's sake, stop him.
I refuse! Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet. In this courtroom, my duty is to the law, so let me propose a toast. To uncovering the truth, by fair means or foul.
No!
Look at his chips go!
The chips are flying.
Very well, the defense stands here, and that of the prosecution has been made very clear, I feel. Therefore, in accordance with the defense request, the court would now listen to this music box as this music box is set in operation once more.
Well, this all could have been avoided if Gregson just said, yeah, I just told this man. But here we go.
This time with the second disc in place as both discs playing simultaneously. All right, I admit it, whatever you want, but for the love of God, shut that blooming box up.
She would know what it says.
Well, yeah. Let's hope that she is an honest juror, right?
Yeah.
The jurors are dumb, but they're not liars.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you or did you not strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Rupert Crowray?
Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the peephole in the pawnbroker's storeroom, Inspector? I did.
Stop! What are you doing, man?
It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess, and we were stood here in the stand together. That's when he approached me with the deal.
Shut up, you imbecile. Shut up!
This is you, Ryan.
You there. You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbroker the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for, Inspector, with Mia at this very moment. So how about a trade I suggest you accept? Or information that may make certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed.
I couldn't let that information become public knowledge, not under any circumstances. So I accepted the man's proposal and told him details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The people in the storeroom door, and the bloodstains on the overcoat.
By giving false testimony, this witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused for murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury. Yeah.
I did. But then it turned out that the people had only been made to that night after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, Mr. Crowgray, what do you have to say for yourself? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime, namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Hinch Windbank.
Oh,
Oh my
oh
god.
my god!
What the fuck's happening?
Wow.
Oh my god.
The Hemblick
Not the chip.
Oh, wait, did he spit out the chip?
Yeah.
Bailiff restrained that man.
No, that was my life chip.
At once. Yeah, my heart was a chip.
That's it then. It's all over.
Is it?
Let's hope so.
Mm.
And this is all Crowgray.
Grogray. I despised my life growing up. Those slums are vile places. I was cursed from birth, born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me. So I set about studying to better myself, to one day escape from that hellhole.
You eventually became a communications officer. I admire your determination.
But then you decided to try and sell government secrets. Why?
Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me in the small hours. I wanted to drown them out, with more money than anyone who lived in that squalor could ever imagine. Then one day, I met him. Mr. Cosney McGundle.
You're a fiend with a queer talent. So you are. Have money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need to do is go along with me little plan now.
I was to steal the ministry's telegraphic message log, and McGundle would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections of Ministry Communication Office, it was a simple enough task.
Oh, sorry.
No
The
problem.
lore of the devil's offerings. How easy it is to succumb.
But you must surely have realized the seriousness of the crime you were committing.
And for that reason, I took great lengths to ensure that my actions were untraceable.
By using the music box.
My father was a brickmaker, though my mother divorced him when I was still a child.
Yes, Mr. Walter Miltopen.
That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. He'd once been a music box maker apprentice. I imagined his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. So I sought out my father again, to employ his services. It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slum 10 years earlier.
He's got a funny hat.
Shall I voice his father? Who's gonna voice his father? I don't know.
Well, I doubt his father's gonna be around for very long.
Yeah, it's not much.
I mean, he's already dead, but like...
Look at you. look at you, Rupert.
Yeah.
What a fine gent you've become, eh? Well, it's your turn.
Oh wait. He was a different man to the one in my memory. A thin, frail old man. But poverty had never broken him, never corrupted him like it had me. I was sure that he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason. So I made up a story. I've got some work for you, father. I need some music box discs made. Music box discs?
Music box discs, hey? A musician friend of mine has written. Oh wait, that's your line.
A musician friend of mine has written some music he wants to sell to the public. I brought the score with me. There are two, actually.
I'd be delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this. Fetch my tools, would you? They're in the loft.
That's how I made him make the 2 discs.
Thereby splitting the information in two, you were taking considerable precautions indeed.
It was to protect myself as much as anything. It meant that I could deal with McGundle in 2 separate transactions. The first involved the first of the 2 discs and a music box for playing them. I exchanged it with McGundle for 10 guineas. Then, on receipt of the second disc, he would pay 1,000 guineas.
So, what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago? Was the second part of the deal? The exchange of the second disc?
Yes. I'd sold the man information that way a number of times already. But it seems he became reluctant to part with his money.
But that doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Crowgrave, for why was that? Was it that on the omnibus 2 months ago, your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with Mr. McGondle and not yourself?
When I received 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGundle, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. But my father realized something was amiss. In time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious, and when he did, he said to me,
Next time there's a exchange, you let me, or if I let your old man do it, understand? Otherwise, I wouldn't take your money anymore.
that was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from my gondola. That's it. He had no idea what was actually on the disc I'd asked him to make. He never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home. It was only then that I found out what sort of monster McGundle really was. So after 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore on my father's name. To exact revenge.
Revenge?
It's yep. As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man will no doubt be able to imagine. McGundle brought all his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. Crush any semblance of justice in this trial. The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and witnesses were bribed. The trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish.
My feet had barely touched British soil back then, and I walked right into the hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background of it all.
I'd made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGundle by then. So I spared nothing in my arrangement 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in the city willing to do anything you ask. McGundle himself had shown me that.
Are you saying that?
I think you have the picture now. After he twisted everything to his favor in this courtroom to ensure that he walked free, I took matters into my own hands and delivered the justice that monster deserved. That tragic accident following the trial here 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly.
McGundle's death that day was caused by this man? Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom.
What's this, officer? This sooner than I was led to believe.
I hope it's not an inconvenience, sir. There were some changes into the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. It is time for the inspection. They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. Asked if I could be present for it myself.
So that policeman who came to tell Mr. McGundle he could examine the omnibus again.
Oh, I thought it was just
That's
him.
right. An imposter hired by me.
I thought it was just him in the outfit, but no.
Well, he's not a master of disguise like Holmes, though.
McGundle used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all matters of false evidence. He threatened witnesses to lie in their testimony. So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, one of my sham policemen ushered McGundle inside and sent him on a one-way journey to hell. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death.
Spine-chilling account indeed.
But that wasn't the end for it for me. There was a loose end, you see.
A loose end.
Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGundle.
Ah, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in the man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because it had been removed from the scene of the crime.
When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with McGundle. This is the first of the 2 discs, and the music box you need to play them.
Well, look at that now. What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for you, young man.
What's this? Windibank's pawnbrokery?
Aye, it is a pawnbroker's ticket, so it is. You can use it to redeem an article I've deposited there for you. There's no need to give a name, just hand over the ticket and tell the fiend the watchword. Put a jewel in pawn for you. It'll fetch you good 10 guineas if you sell it, so it will.
I've never heard of a pawnbrokery being used in quite that way before.
Have you not, Mr. Crowray? London's pawnbrokeries are very useful places, you know. Each one is like an extremely secure vault.
Dot 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 dot.
So I knew that if he'd taken steps to hide the disc, it would be in that pawnbrokery somewhere. And that on the night he killed my father, he must have entrusted the ticket to someone.
Yes, to Gina. I remember now that when we first met you at the Winterbanks that afternoon 2 days ago, you had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How did you know who you were looking for?
From the trial, that pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately that she was another of McGondle's pawns, that he must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced that it would be her who had the ticket. So I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline.
And he was absolutely right.
And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until the girl went to Windibanks to redeem the articles. But unfortunately, she redeemed only McGundle's overcoat and the one disc that was in his pocket. The all-important music box with the second disc inside was missing.
Because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier.
But I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion.
Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, we picked up on the fact that that McGundle was involved.
Inspector, you recall fast.
It is but a flesh wound. My orders were to recover the stolen information as quickly as possible. So we started gathering the fella's possession and examining whatever we could lay on our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yard, but we had to keep it as quiet as we could.
Then, when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I became nervous. I was sure the music box and secondary was still in the shop somewhere. So I knew that it was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did.
So that's what you prompted you to, what's prompted you to break into the place that same night. With the help of your old friends, the Timpo brothers.
What happened that night in the pawnbrokery, I can only describe as a nightmare. While Nemi and Tully were searching the counter, I located the music box I sold to McGundle on the shelves for forfeited articles.
And the second disc was inside.
Yes, I slipped it into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened.
Good.
What are you doing in my shop? Oop, that wasn't his voice. I don't remember.
He was close.
A gunshot rang out in the shop, and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm.
Broker fired his gun and the bullet pierced your limb.
Yes, exactly, but unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night, just in case. Before I knew what was happening, I'd fire back. The man had already turned to flee. I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. But unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as he fled through the store door for refuge.
Sorry, Tail.
It all took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nemi and Tully even realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Winterbeck's on that wretched night.
Deadly silence.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Too much text and read.
Anyone ketchup for my chips?
Earlier you called McGundle a monster. A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder. What tragic irony. For what you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGundle.
Yes, I think I have.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Well, this has been a long and exhausting trial.
Yeah, pretty
Yes.
much. How many weeks? How many hours?
However, it would seem that at last we have arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Rupert Crogray? He's been restrained, my lord, and is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Windybank and the stealing of government secrets. Very good. You, Inspector. Regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself. Yes, my lord, of course.
Transpires that you were complicit in helping a criminal escape justice. The fact remains whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. Crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable.
Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Just like,
This
wow,
time-
fuck, I really got myself into a whole thing of trouble, didn't I?
It is
All
time
for
for
a
the
few
final
guineas.
adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, sir. Garadep squadron standing by, sir. This is really it now. The last push, the final call, the finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdicts.
Alright, you can calm down now, Mr. Foreman.
What if one of them did a guilty?
Then it's not the numbers.
Then it's
No.
like,
That's
I
a
still don't
surgeon.
believe him. He just confessed in front of you. No.
The surgeon
Surgeon.
with his head, boom, guilty.
Mispresses. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will now declare your final decisions to the court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
There's literally
Not
voice
guilty.
acting.
Wait, is there? We
Not
can't use voice
guilty.
acting.
Oh, okay,
It
there
doesn't
is. There,
exist.
there is. Look at the stream for it.
This must be a really dangerous
Not
operation to
guilty.
just have fireballs everywhere.
Yeah, right
That's
over
what
the
you-
judge's head.
That's what you said the first time it happened as well. And yes, I agree.
Reiterated.
I agree with you. But
That's the stuff. I'm off the hook.
Oh, yeah.
Finally! You finally managed to do it!
finally, it's the ward. I wasn't really sure if we'd come out of on top of it for a while there.
Lucy was right. You're the best lawyer in the world.
Mr. Lestrade, I am not finished with you yet.
What? What are you looking at me like that for?
Before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider. 2 months ago in my courtroom, no less, you gave false testimony.
He was
Did you know?
blackmailed,
Uh,
which is a crime in itself.
and in relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Windybank's pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGondle's property, it seems.
Something that wasn't Mr. McGondle's.
I never done nothing of the sort.
Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing McGondle's coat in your cell yesterday or anything.
Oh, just when I was really excited about throwing a party for Jonathan this evening.
You turn your attention to the defense. Determining that, when played together, the music box discs contained a message in Morse code was... well, it was certainly a most unexpected revelation, counsel.
It's like, now that I've finished dressing down this child, let me just compliment the defense attorney.
Yeah.
Quite so, my lord. The
Government sucks.
prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast. You gonna crush it again? To demanding that government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom.
Yeah. Very sorry about that. Was the only way I could get Inspector Gregson to admit to what he had done, so... Yeah. Oh.
Oh, it's the lady probably, right?
Isn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about the sounds produced by the
It
music box
wasn't
before.
government secret.
I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all.
What? What are you saying, madam?
Oh, well, it's just that I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. So much so that the world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact.
Really, man.
Wow.
You're really too absorbed in it.
Goodness, madam, an unhealthy level of obsession one feels.
But I must say that, in my opinion, the sounds produced by those 2 discs were nothing more than that. A meaningless series of 2 different tones.
Oh my god.
What?
His ass, then.
Can it really be? It wasn't Morse
It was
code
playing
after
backwards.
all. My lord, the fans would like to listen to the music box again.
Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you those discs contain ministerial secrets, sunshine?
This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government communications. We know Migundo conspired to trade national secrets with our enemies, secrets acquired from Mr. Crowbray. Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further.
But is it really going... It is really going to bother me.
Here she comes. She's thinking.
Well,
Mr.
she is applying logical deduction on why the discs are not Morse code, then. Because she's Sherlock Holmes. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, me lord.
That which you have seen today here in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing.
Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a grim catalog of depravity.
An appalling experience to befall any child.
Come on! Ain't nothing. It ain't nothing I don't see most days in the back slums.
I beg your pardon.
If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes.
Nina.
But look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want to change it, you've got to start at home. You got to change how you are yourself.
Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I eagerly look forward to the born-again Miss Lestrade never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Hatch Windybank, proprietor of a pawnbrokery business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant Miss Gina Lestrade
Not
Not
guilty.
Finally.
Fireworks indoors.
It's like I'm still going to jail.
Agina has something extra.
Yeah!
Wait a minute, how'd she fit a firework in there?
It's a grenade launcher. Maybe it's a fire launcher as well.
Fire does everything in this
Is
court.
that a firework in your pocket or just happy to see me?
Oh my god.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
Hmm.
On a personal note, I must say you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend.
Ah. Oh.
Despite being a Nipponese, you saw through the pretense to the malice that festered within that Englishman. And at the same time, saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures.
Hmm. I don't think there is anything curious about it. whether we're on the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. We're not so very different on the inside.
Bruh.
You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom.
Oh.
You did?
When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed. Through you, I hope to look into the eyes of the man I once knew and try to understand.
You mentioned something similar earlier today, about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly?
Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not.
Alright, then I'll wait for that day, if I must.
Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey, and my retirement from service 5 years ago. It gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. Stop crushing your glasses! So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow, until we meet again.
Well, at least he has a reason to not trust the Japanese.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense now.
Mm.
It's still not good. But
It's not...
still racist asshole, but
It's done.
he's not irredeemable.
Yeah, he's not really redeemable. I mean, he has made progress with Naruto. Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's done. It's over at last. But... where has Iris disappeared to? Oh! Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent.
Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruto. You believed in me, right up to the end. Yes, Otta's your name.
What's odd about it? I told you I have faith in you, didn't I?
No one has ever had before, you see? Kept the promise, I mean, properly.
That's awful.
I figured something out today. All my life, growing up in the slums, I've never trusted no one. But that's just because I've been scared to be stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down.
Yes, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste in it in the trial 2 months ago. I choose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know though, Gina, I worked out for something out quite recently too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it is the right thing to do, and your trust is rewarded. There's no better feeling in the world. I think I think I have you to thank for reminding me that valuable lesson.
Well, if you say so, don't make a lot of sense to me though.
I'm trying to say is, putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure.
For crying out loud, pack it in! But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting in someone else is, alright.
Thanks. Good.
Oh.
This is the way I see it, Minosuke. Defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself.
After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean, Kazuma. Am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be a lawyer you believe I could be? Iris? Maybe? I don't know.
What?
Iris, maybe? I don't know.
Oh. Just click it.
Let's see. Oh, it's
No, it
Sherlock.
wasn't Iris.
Okay,
The
let's
other guy.
just do the previous line as well.
Pardon the interruption. What the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow?
That voice.
It's too late for that voice. Now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Yes, it was me all along. I would have said when you finally noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling.
Mr. Holmes!
Yes, it was me all along. You see?
The other guard is just staring
No,
at
it's
him.
not that nice.
I'd assumed you'd be taken back to the hospital, to be honest.
Indeed, I was. But I managed to escape again.
He's mad.
I happened to be aware of one or two foibles of the doctor who was tending to me. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence.
How very above board.
But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts just rewarded, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat to you.
Thank you?
Some great detective you are. Great at being caught as ice, maybe.
Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade?
While you have been having a snooze in your nice soft bed, some of us have been fighting for our lives.
Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps as cold as ice, but, well, have a feel. Oh my god.
Take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Holmes.
One of those.
And in some way, I suppose. Congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade.
What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted?
Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but an acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious.
Well done, Mr. Holmes. Not alarming in the slightest.
Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Because anyone who's not found guilty in the trial was working on White's Up Dead anyways, is that it?
The very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McCondle, in fact. Ah, but of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself. Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, well, it don't bother me.
Oh, really?
Of course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's built like him upstairs.
Him upstairs? You mean like God?
Yeah, him upstairs knows what's right. He knows what people are like on the inside. He won't have got the wrong end of the stick. There's some cubs like that box trotter water rotten to the core. At the end of the day, him upstairs make sure they get what they deserve.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Ripper taking matters into its own hand and claiming lives is another.
Well, I ain't like McGundles of the world, so I ain't scared. I got principles, see?
A trait in you which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade.
Oi, just give it a rest, alright?
As I was saying, congratulations are in order. News of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina.
Well,
There you are! Ozzy, how long have you been here?
Oh my god.
Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there.
Ah, Iris, my dear, do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves.
What happened?
As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff. But these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it?
I'm not sure, really.
I beg your pardon?
I'm sorry. I just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have.
Oof.
Wow. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day.
I'll be careful.
Ouch.
Anyway, it's such a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Jenny Bean tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you?
don't look like I'm gonna be going nowhere for a while. You heard the judge's patter. I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. All of them offenses. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking the box treasure stuff, what was in the lug, blah blah blah.
Yes, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense.
But diving ain't an offense. It's a job, isn't?
I don't think so.
Still, it has got me thinking. All this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. I mean, you didn't
Maybe.
start off as a lawyer, did you, Otto?
Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket.
Well, anyway, I reckon I can make a change. I'm gonna do something for all of them like me from the slums. Something that will make a difference for them.
It's a wonderful idea, Genevieve, and I'm sure you can do it. What is it?
Aww.
Nothing.
Miss Keenan Lestrade? Prison carriages have arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once.
Right. Well, looks like I'm off then.
Yes, goodbye, Gina. And good luck.
Uh, Otto?
Yes? This is a long lineup for something. What was that for?
Die.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so...
Indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade.
Eh?
On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you.
Hmm.
Oh, yes. It's good advice, Ginny Bean.
Right, I see. Well...
Oh!
Thanks, Otto.
I cry.
Thank you for everything. For what you've done. For believing in me.
Not at all. In fact, it should be my line. Thank you, Gaina. Well, there she goes. Wonder if I'll ever see her again.
Well, quite the indomitable pickpurse.
I nearly forgot. I bought a paper outside. It's a special edition, and this trial is all over the front page. Pickpockets, innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful?
You should have shown it to Gaina, Iris. She would have been thrilled.
Oh no. How silly of me. But anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Not again.
Well, what do you say, Mia? Holmesy?
As usual, I'd rather go with the bad news out of the way first.
Absolutely not. I have no intention of listening to anything but good news.
And there you have it. How people answer their questions says a lot about them, doesn't it?
Let's not get there.
Alright then. Maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record level of rainfall, apparently.
Well, that is good news indeed. I can journey back in greater comfort.
Alright then. What's the bad news?
The huge storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more.
Wait, Dover?
That's right. If we head to the station immediately, we may still make it in time to wave Susie off.
Aww.
But... There won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky.
Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruodo?
Mr. Holmes?
I rushed to Victoria Station early and made arrangements for a special express. If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole.
No, I don't. The Great Detective does it again.
Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of the rail transport directive foibles.
What?
I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary.
Just an idea, but... It might be wise to stop manipulating people that way.
What are we waiting for, then? To London, Victoria!
I'm gonna miss doing Iris's voice for a while.
Mm.
We're making a redeem.
Aww.
That took somewhat longer than I had anticipated. Susie's boat must be about to leave now.
Mrs. Otto, where are you?
Oh,
Oh, over there. Look. Looks like she's reading something. Miss Susato, wait! What are you doing?
She hates books.
Mr. Naruhodo, what are you doing here?
We came in as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we've heard the sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see.
Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Kina's trial go?
Yeah, it went well. She was acquitted.
It's wonderful. Really wonderful news.
The book you were about to throw into the sea. Was it your encyclopedia of the British law, wasn't it?
Oh dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not working or practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell.
You were saying goodbye to law? You, Susato?
would I be correct in assuming it's because of the people, Miss Usato?
I deliberately hovered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable.
Reminds me. How did you even come to have this, Susie?
On the evening of the incident, Mr. Holmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember.
Oh, yes, we had a wonderful time.
Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean.
Oh, that was so much fun. I still read his armbands.
Yes, please don't do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me.
Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. It embodies for ages.
Naweem, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cut flap mod, so I put it up on my sleeve.
Really?
And then I rather forgot about it until I found myself in Mr. Windbank's shop.
Isn't it
with
heavy?
the leather stuff.
Isn't it really heavy to keep it in your sleep, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also
I
beads.
think it's made as a portable device, right?
I see. Yeah, it is
Pretty
somewhat,
big,
but
though.
it should be still weighty. I mean, look at how that thing looks. It looks like a lot of metal.
Go ray
part.
gun.
And then... Mr. Holmes! Mr.
Yeah.
Holmes!
Mr. Holmes!
Yeah, every time when the word Sholmes is elongated by extra syllables,
Oh.
the translation thing will not, the changing program will not register it. Anyway,
Believe me, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah!
right.
After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think. The door started to play in my mind. The
Storeroom
storeroom
door,
door.
you mean?
Oh, it was you. Sorry.
Yeah, it was me.
Yes. If Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized that it could only be behind that door. And at the moment, the little device that I had up in my sleeve sprang to mind. I was worried about Gina. I simply had to know.
So you used the cat flapper map to make a peephole in the door.
It's captured in a photographic print of the shop by one of Holmes's red-handed recorders.
Indeed, it was of the first importance, that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though, naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing.
When I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier.
The trial of Constantly McGundle.
I thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? As from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windbank. Even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing.
You were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime.
That's right. But then I realized it. It will be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case.
What do you mean?
Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it developed to be a way to see behind the door.
Ah,
For which, the peephole would be the very thing.
Only the people I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so I wouldn't make any difference. It wouldn't make any difference.
But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not?
a trap? Is that why she did it?
So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you had made the people to anyone, not even to the police.
No, and I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong. A criminal offense, even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Holmes.
Oh, that's what happened in the hospital.
If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner, with no other possible means to escape, the truth about the people could save him. That was my plan.
She really does think of everything. But Dan, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began?
My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade.
No.
You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with a crime scene. So, Mrs. Sato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake, and Miss Lestrade's.
Miss Susato.
part is, when it happened, I did it because I lost a little my faith in the law.
Oh?
I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that, is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant.
What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Crowgray is the one who lied in the witness stand, using the peephole as a way to
Implicate.
implicate Gina. I'm sorry.
There you go. You got it.
And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hasn't existed, I'm not all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Miss Usato, what you did saved Gina's life.
Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you saved me, too, from my regrets. Aww.
What a baby. Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrange's freedom has been assured.
Yes, exactly. Although, some of the loose ends in the trail will continue to play in my mind, I'm sure.
A revelation that the music box disc contained secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo? What a triumph to work that out! I'm full of admiration.
Well, actually, the argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was.
Oh, it wasn't?
There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see, a telegraph operator. She said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones.
As one would expect. After all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood should they have been intercepted.
In cipher? I see. So then, we could never have hoped to understand the message anyway.
Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you. What?
Gi. What?
Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny.
Wait, Iris, what did you just say?
Oh, I just said asogi. Does that word mean something to you?
Means something? Asogi was the name of my best friend.
What?
Oh, how do you know that name, Iris?
I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box.
She transcribed it on the fly? She really is a genius.
I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code.
Sorry,
That's okay.
my throat got dry, so it started to like scratch.
Oh wow.
Oh,
You should
hydrate a bit,
really.
Her voice
Everyone
doesn't
should.
hurt me. It's just because I'm getting out of being sick.
So I tried various ways to interpret it. But whatever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make any sense.
It might have been in Japanese. Yeah.
That is, in English at least.
Oh,
It suddenly occurred to me, you see, there's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to Morse code to use it in their own languages.
I don't believe it. Are you saying?
That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before. but I think it's based on the Iroha pentagram, isn't it?
And you mean to say that the Japanese Morse code message says Asogi? Asogi?
Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all of the Japanese Morse code.
Aris, would you like me to see that?
Susato, on the fly, ready?
Miss Susato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code?
I do.
She does.
I spent some time studying it. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications.
Well, it was. For a little while. Then might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version.
Be that as it may, Aris, show me the message, please.
Of course.
What can this possibly mean?
Whatever it has been, whatever is in that long sequence is supposedly meaningless dots and dashes. It's made the color drain from Sato's face.
There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code.
So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret method of communications.
I don't understand the reason why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names.
4
Names.
names?
Huh.
The first is Kei Asogi.
Kazuma
Kazuma
Asogi.
Asogi.
Why? Why is his name on the disc?
Second is A. Shin.
Shin? I don't recognize that name.
Third is T. Guragusan.
Gure-gusan.
Gure Rexon?
Oh my gosh, I didn't understand that.
Guru
Guragusan.
Gregson?
Oh, it would seem Tobias Gregson is the 3rd man on the list.
And what his name doing on a secret government communication as well?
The last name.
Oh.
What's the matter, Mr. Tato?
Oh. It's just so strange. So unexpected.
What is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense.
The last name is J. Watson.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And
Watson?
they are all dead.
John H. Watson? You mean Daddy?
He knows something.
There is only J. Watson, so I'm afraid I can be sure. And after the 4 names, it reads, if I translate from the Japanese, that is all 4. And that's the hand of the message, or rather the hand of what you noted down, Aris.
That's like a hit list.
I just can't believe it. Who would ever have thought that those discs contain Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some distinguishedly
Lingy?
familiar names.
Disturbingly.
Disturbingly familiar
There you go.
names. There.
It would appear that this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan.
So, Daddy could be in Japan then, where Susie and Ryu came from.
He was.
Oh, well,
No, that's not very likely, really, is it? I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Watson, and there must be lots of J's among them.
do we tell
Professor John H. Watson, visiting professor of medicine in the Imperial UMA University. We can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. This is so strange. Somehow, in solving the case of the Mr. Winterberg's murder today, I feel like we've rolled back a boulder on the mouth of very dark cave.
I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside.
Honk. Well, if you didn't know, if you didn't hear that sound effect, then yeah, there was an actual honk.
I know. That's why I'm like,
Oh dear, the ship is going to set sail soon.
Yes, it seems so.
I just think it's a funny sound.
It's very noisy.
Honk, honk.
I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. Then I'll change into a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan.
You're really going then, Susie?
I wish you a safe passage, Missy Sato.
Thank you so much. I wish you all of you the very best.
Mrs. Otto, I hope to have you always at my side to guide me and support me.
Mr. Naruhodo!
Please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned,
That's
you
nice.
really are the best digital assistant in the world.
Friend zone.
Got judicial assistance zone.
Judicial assistant.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm quite sure. I'll be back before you know it.
Really, Susie?
Well, now don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I will get to fulfill.
A promise?
About your manuscript.
Oh yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles.
Well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise.
Definitely, Iris. Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes?
do you remember the first time we met?
Yes, of course.
I was accused of murder.
On the SS and Claire, when I was dragged out from the wardrobe, still half asleep. Rimmer rightfully threw me halfway across the cabin with the Susato takedown.
You know very well then when talking about after that. Strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Katsuma's great legacy.
Miss Susato.
And my instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that. I'll be back soon. Farewell until then. Under the thing.
Okay, this is a cutscene, you probably won't hear the audio because of the way the audio is formatted.
Oh, I can hear.
Oh, okay.
最初の冒険の物語はおしまいだ。思えば不思議な運命に導かれてここまで来たような気がする。
Oh my god, they're so cute.
Kitty!
Oh my god, Maya also left at the end of the first game.
異国の街で名探偵と出会った。これからもきっとさまざまな困難が僕を待ち受けているのだろう。
I didn't jack shit.
でもどんな危機だって大逆転できる。
What'd you say? I fucked your mom!
He's playing violin too. Or no, that's viola, right?
No, it's a violin.
Yeah, it's a violin, but it was confused for a.
No.
Yeah,
This is we got his actual violin back at some point.
What did you say? I fucked your mom!
Thank you.
Ah, yes. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, Mr. Holmes.
I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train, apparently.
Huh?
Of course, such a commotion on the line. All the other trains had to wait at stations.
But really, we would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything. And how it was all your fault. I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Mrs. Sato,
You love defending yourself in court. It's alright, I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See?
I could not believe it.
Mr. Holmes.
yes.
A word, if you don't mind.
Why, certainly. Any word you like. Bellow it out, my dear fellow.
Oh yes, I love to use words. And I know just the one he'll use here.
Then I really must say, objection!
Oh my god.
End credit time.
Yay.
There we
Credit.
go.
Mika,
The end.
Naruhodo Ryunosuke.
I thought though.
Oh, this is scripted, so you can only read
okay.
it really fast.
Something was afoot, though transpired I had ordered them all myself. So I advertised them for sale with use by Mr. Holmes to solve an important case.
Wow.
And the money I've earned. Consulting detective work pays a pittance by comparison.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes by Kudaloo!
Yay!
There we go.
Aww, I haven't sipped a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow now. When I'm this busy, Ozzy usually cooks me breakfast. Well, cooks is an overstatement. For some dry toast and insipid coffee. I do miss Susie and her lovely Japanese breakfasts.
Irises by Kudaloo! And we're getting all Kudaloos.
Awkward ceremony. It's riddled with contradictions.
Exactly! Rarely a rare Coleman coin hides under a rare stake themselves. I don't know who did.
Guravaru knows his father is an innocent man, or
The words were coming off his
witnesses. My courtroom is no place
It's
for
all
petty
breaking.
arguments.
All these characters by Kudaloo, Hina, and Kudaloo.
Yay!
Fudge.
And this guy.
That is yours?
I forgot about
That
him.
is your.
It was me. Alright.
All your
Besides,
lines.
I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board.
I've done nothing wrong. All I did was give one guy offered refuge. A man brings some kitten on board. Suddenly he's a hardened criminal. It's not fair.
Oh.
By
babies.
Chrono Bell and Ox Ryan.
Yay!
Oh, this fucker.
Scientific
This
investigation will be the gold standard for something. I dream of a world governed by the tenets of order and discipline. Like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison.
I am probably a fascist.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have but 2 minutes and 37 seconds until my next appointment.
Vortex
I am a
by Kudu. Yeah, Kudu.
That's
Man, sometimes I really need to
It's
think
on
about
you.
Kudu or Kudu. Like what?
like Coots and Kudu.
Yeah. The latest Red magazine is out, and I'm in it again. Whenever I see that one line she wrote now, I get a standing ovation when I hear it. Not bad, I suppose, for an amateur.
Yay! Woo!
No, yes, coffee, not chips anymore.
No, that's the tea.
The
That lady,
tea,
she
yeah.
puts me to shame.
Gregson by Kudu.
Woo!
Been visiting the Olga on a daily basis, of course. Joni, my old jailbird. Must say, battling with those bolly stairs every day has done wonders for this sticky peg. Managing very well the housework too. Got this maid business taped up, I'd say. Hope the gossiping neighbors don't realize the man of the house is his own maid.
Gird by Orion.
Woo!
All them stairs, man.
The stairs!
Aww.
My track's back on beat again, all thanks to Reaper!
There's nothing I enjoy more these days than something I'm a better Bobby now. Looking out for laundress that dropped their pennies in my lovely wife. Oh, Pat?
Oh, Patrick!
Both fat.
They're both bad. Oh my god.
Yes. Didn't you guys know? Chrono and Ryan.
Looks like I'm gonna be always doing it time for a bit now. But Iris comes every day for a matter, so it ain't too boring. She's always going on about all them cases what Holmes is looking into. Criminal investigations are kind of interesting when you get into them.
Gina by Bell at one point, Ryan at some point, Nate by one other point. Yay!
Fucking no, just
Everybody.
everybody.
Advice by
I shot at her once.
Yes, I renounced my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets? Please.
Give over, bruv. They ain't Ash we used to know.
At that time, in the plane, the comeback of Midburton, Tim Pillows me a crown.
That's pretty much what's milking the neighborhood for Wallace
For
Ware.
all it's worth.
I like how he's dancing with him too.
Oh yeah.
All JoJo characters.
Oh, I like how
By
he's looking at the
Bell
front while
and
the
Ryan.
actors are looking back.
Aww. These past 6 months has been a time I shall remember forevermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I come to realize that what life is all about. Not without a promise. Your assistant will return to you one day. But for now, I'll leave you with many memories and a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well.
Susato by Chronova.
What's hiding?
Mm.
Oh, what the fuck? That's really cute.
Yep.
Barbies.
I like to squish Chica by Holmes.
I wonder if we
Well,
can get
that's-
a picture of that of just like the 5 of us.
Yeah,
Ryan can be the cat.
Ooh.
That will be so cool.
Ethan can be Holmes. I can be Iris.
Mm-hmm.
And,
They will be too good.
No, you and then Kazuma has a stance at the background.
Well, that was the Great Ace Attorney one. This is these are our end credits for well everyone else, like all the developers, voice actors and such.
Voice actors. Oh, don't tell me he's gonna disappear in the middle of it. Fuck, man.
Well, this is the first. This is the first case I've closed.
Not yet. Didn't she die?
No,
No, she didn't.
Brett survived. She only got excused and was thrown into high court because we couldn't.
Oh, that's
we couldn't
right.
frame. We couldn't because she was an English woman with importance. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
She couldn't be.
I'm pretty sure she
found
will be a
guilty.
spy. I think she is a spy.
Whoa.
Well,
And there's some government secrets
I'm
that
like-
we don't know.
Oh my god.
I'm like crying on the inside.
gonna
You
do
better
it?
not fucking disappear.
They're gonna do it.
Oh no, they
Oh,
moved up.
dang it.
Oh no, they moved up. He
Okay.
moved into his spot. No,
Okay.
stop. Don't take him.
Don't go! Don't go!
no. They're center for.
I need to commission someone to draw Coots' Cosmo,
Absolutely.
Oh,
and that'll be my new PNG for.
Maybe I should do the same with me as Naruto.
and yes, Sato. Our most iconic character,
I would
the
be
one
the
we like
judge.
more.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
gonna
want
edit.
Kuro as Gregson.
I'm just gonna edit
Why
a
me as
mustache
Brexton?
on my PNG.
Oh, you said Kuru. Oh,
Kuru.
sorry.
Kuru.
Yeah, sorry, Kuro.
Hmm. And Ryan, who can Ryan be? Really? Garrett App? Garrett App has been his most prominent role, right?
Well, he also plays him, right?
No, Vortex was by.
It was me.
He was originally by
Yeah, maybe.
for Ryan, I think, though.
I
Ryan wasn't there
Well, I think it was
before
originally
die.
Kururu. And then I did it for 1 week because Kururu wasn't there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then that's the one I remember.
Yeah. Damn. I didn't leave an impression.
Ooh.
Oof. Kind of like this way of end credits, really,
Yeah, it's very
because
good.
it
A
kind of
recap of all
tells
the-
it kind of tells the story of what you've been through in the
Yeah.
entire adventure.
Remember all the things that happened this past year.
It's actually almost been a year since you guys started, I think, right? I wasn't there for like the first
Oh, somewhat,
few
yes.
months.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This too, it was so funny that I did the male, the boy, and Ryan did the girl.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
to me and Belle have Pat and Pat.
So, question: was your favorite case of this first game?
I feel like mine was the first one.
The first one,
Because I
because of
like
Cosmo.
the poisoning narrative and all this other kind of cool
okay.
stuff.
Yeah. I like that we all hyped. We were also hyped for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, join for Holmes and Iris
Yeah,
join.
look at him.
Don't tell me Susato's gonna disappear after.
Well, come on.
This. Oh, did that together.
You're ruining our hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
How dare you?
This blessed smile of Gina, really.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, she's loading up the gun.
Mm.
Probably the only case that I've like fully know was the stabbing, but other than that, I feel like the last case is kind of tied a lot to the third case,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
I didn't really get to experience the whole thing.
I think my favorite one was either the stabbing or the second. The second one because of Holmes's whole
Oh,
reasoning.
yes, me too. I love the second one.
It was more like out of. I love how Holmes and Naruhodo is like elementary. Great Ace Attorney Adventures, and
I'm clapping.
Me too.
there
We're
we
clapping.
go. We all are
We're not doing
clapping.
something else.
No, never.
I unlocked the achievement Fleeting Farewell.
Oh, so pretty. I want this as a desktop background.
Oh, cool.
It's probably in the gallery. Well, next time in
Different title
about a
screen.
month or so, I suppose, we'll be entering Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve.
Whoa.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
For now, it's the end of the Great Ace Attorney. And we're probably taking a 1 month break, I suppose.
Yeah, why not? Take a little break.
We'll take a little break. It's been a long year, kinda. I don't know when. I don't remember when we just.
I feel like we started
We can
either like
just jump
August
into
or
our.
September, maybe.
Yeah, we can just jump into our Discord chat. Let's just go all the way up to its first chat.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, even then, that wouldn't be the start of it because we were talking in the other like private one before
Mm,
this, I think.
No. We've made the group pretty much after we established it. Well, actually, Belle made the group.
I did?
It was back in July.
Oh, yes.
Back in July when Belle made the group.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost 1 year.
Yeah, almost a year. Well then, it will be about if we're taking a month break, it will be about July that we're returning to Great Ace Attorney as well.
Anniversary.
Oh, 1 year. Maybe before July, I'll make myself a new PNG with me as Naruto then.
Bring mobile back for the anniversary.
Maybe we all should acquire new PNGs for it. I don't know. It'd be fun.
You can all get them from Inquiry. You can all get them from Inquiry.
Oh, yeah, we can see for that, yeah. Well, that's it for Great Ace Attorney collab for now. We'll be back with this kind of format like next month then. Around July then, I suppose, to collaborate with the 1 year anniversary. Oh, thank you, Yukimon, for the subscription. 5 months in a row. Thank you. You're still welcome in the troop, as per usual. Thank you for the continued support. Yes, I'm thinking of raiding someone. We don't have that many people, but we might as well just give some support to some good friends of ours. I think we might as well just... Oh. I got multiple notifications still for that.
Hey!
Hmm?
Yay!
Yay! Yay! Oh yeah, before we go into raid, I first want to thank everyone from the lovely Greatest Journey collab for joining me. It's been some journey for this past
It's been
year,
a pleasure.
almost a year,
Been
to
fun.
voice the entire first game. And I really hope that we'll be able to complete the game with this
Yeah,
group.
it was longer than expected.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Greatest Attorney is a long series. But it's a really enjoyable one, in my opinion. But yeah, everyone who is still on the stream, here is the lovely people that you can find them on these socials or Twitch channels and socials.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are interested as well, I have a Discord you can join if you want to keep in touch on notifications and such. And we're trying to, if there is more interest from people, we're trying to do also watch-alongs and whatnot. Maybe community things in the future. If the community grows a little bit more. For now, we're going to start rating Venus Dawn. It's been not that many times that we able to, my time zone lines up to rate her. She's been supportive of me in the past, so I might as well return that support. For those who are rating with me, you can do so with these rate message. And those with subs, you can add some nice emotes in there to give the extra love. Thank you everyone from chat. The Basic Tyranny collab. And we'll see everyone next time. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.